Disclaimer. This is a lighter election night and one that is meant to demonstrate a specific kind of election. A ton of work went into this. In addition, American politics can get really strange at times, and I do not expect this scenario to play out or anything similar to this scenario to play out in real life. Welcome to Election Night 2020. We have four main candidates who are looking to become elected president tonight. Nikki Haley with her vice presidential nominee Rand Paul, Nancy Pelosi and Cory Booker, the incumbents, Bernie Sanders and Angus King, and John Kasich and John Hickenlooper, which they have the name recognition of their ticket, Kasich Looper. Since 2018, the past 2 years have been really rough, including a massive recession. Around August of 2018, Special Counsel Robert Mueller released his report on the 2016 presidential election and alleged collusion with Russia by the Trump administration, or specifically his campaign, stating, quote, "We cannot know for certain if the Trump campaign colluded, let alone the extent of any collusion. However, it is not outside the realm of possibility, and suspicions are reasonable." I don't know why it says suspensions. I think our graphic is wrong, but he said suspicions are reasonable. This has caused debating between supporters of Trump and detractors, some stating the findings exonerate him. Truthfully, the findings were completely inconclusive. Some claim the reports implicate him of treason, and some even wanted his head for that. Literally wanted his head for that. This has led to a blue wave in the midterms, with the Democrats picking up numerous House and Senate seats, including seats they weren't expected to be competitive in. In the Senate, they actually held on to every single seat and picked up seats including Texas, Tennessee, and they even managed to pull off Nebraska. In 2019, after the elections, new House Speaker Nancy Pelosi bowed to pressure from other House Democrats to draw up articles of impeachment against Trump. These were passed quickly by the House of Representatives. In the Senate, the trial went by fairly quickly, with the Democrats suspending the filibuster and waiting to vote until late at night, where they had a quorum with the two-thirds majority present, and without Mike Pence. Instead, the session was led by the President pro tempore, Dianne Feinstein. This led to the removal of Trump from office, making Mike Pence, who had attempted to prevent the trial, the 46th President of the United States. He was quickly sworn in, however, essentially as soon as the ink dried, marking him the 46th president, the House drew up articles of impeachment for Mike Pence, who they claimed, as a member of the Trump campaign, had to have known about the collusion and did nothing, making him just as guilty as Trump. These articles were passed as well, and without Pence in the Senate to stall the trial, quorum was called by the President pro tempore. They had not replaced the vice president. They had not replaced Mike Pence as vice president, so there was no vice president at this time. And Pence was then removed from office, and without a vice president, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, ascended to the presidency, becoming the 47th president and the first woman to be president of the United States. Both major parties became split by the events of early 2019. Some Republicans left the party, but rather than joining the Democrats, who they viewed as seizing power for themselves in less than honorable ways, and instead of following the precedents set forth by previous impeachment trials, they elected to form their own party with some disgruntled moderate Democrats and conservative Democrats who felt that either the removal of Pence or the removal of both Pence and Trump were too far, and they formed the new Democrat-Republican Party, taking their name from the historic party and being led by former governors John Kasich and and John Hickenlooper. This party also has gained a lot of centrist support. Democrats also lost droves of progressives who saw the parties too corporate and thought Pelosi would drag them down in 2020 even if she didn't run. These Democrats formed the Progressive Party, being led by Bernie Sanders and Angus King, who was convinced by Sanders to run in order to try and appeal to moderate Democrats and even centrist voters. This has left four parties with serious attempts to win: the Democrats, the Republicans, the Democrat Republicans, and the Progressives. The House breakdown is currently the Republicans have 151 seats with some gains from special elections. The Democrats have 97 seats. The Progressives took a lot of politicians with them, having 104 seats. And the Democrat Republicans also gained some politicians, taking not 183, just 83 seats. The Senate breakdown goes as follows. Republicans have 40 seats, again picking up a few from special elections. Democrats have 29 seats. Progressives have 15 seats. And the Democrat Republicans have 16 seats. Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Georgia, Vermont, and Virginia are the 7 p.m. poll closings, as we all know. And there are two traditional battlegrounds, Georgia and Virginia, though we have no earthly idea what's going to happen tonight. We expect a lot of states that are normally not competitive to become competitive, and we expect a lot of states that are normally competitive to be somehow less competitive or more competitive. We don't know, truth be told. So whatever happens, happens. Indiana, Nikki Haley is a projected winner. We're not going to be able to bring you vote totals, as it'd just be very confusing, but we can project that Nikki Haley will win the state of Indiana. And she will also carry the state of Kentucky, which is home to Rand Paul, her vice presidential nominee. Nikki Haley's home state of South Carolina, she will carry it. In the state of Georgia, closing call, we will call Georgia for Nikki Haley. And in the state of Virginia, another closing call that we didn't expect, we can also project Nikki Haley will win this state as well. In the state of Vermont, Bernie Sanders is the projected winner of his home state. And here's some of the national vote as we see it so far. And this is expected to narrow over the course of the night. And here's what it looks like in map form. Remember, you need 270 in order to win. Sanders is the only candidate besides Nikki Haley with electoral votes. Time for the 7:30 p.m. poll closings, and we have three states: Ohio, West Virginia, and North Carolina, two of which are traditionally considered battlegrounds. The state of West Virginia, Nikki Haley is the projected winner. It's too early to call in the state of Ohio, though John Kasich, its former governor, leads. Nikki Haley is the projected winner of North Carolina, and it's 15 electoral votes. And here's the national vote. As you can tell, Nikki Haley does have a large lead, though other candidates are closing in. And here's what it looks like in map form. As you can see, we have a too close to call category. And state, my apologies, it's time for the 8 p.m. poll closings, and this is a bevy of states worth 172 electoral votes for traditional battlegrounds. In the state of Alabama, Nikki Haley is the projected winner. I don't know why we have vote totals, but that is not an accurate vote total. Bernie Sanders is the projected winner in the state of Connecticut. However, the state of Delaware is too close to call, and Sanders leads this state. In the state of Florida, it's too early to call, though Nikki Haley does lead. In the state of Illinois, it's too early to call, though Sanders leads. In the state of Maine, it is too early. Sorry, my apologies. Bernie Sanders has carried all 4 votes in Maine. In the state of Maryland, it is too early to call, though Bernie Sanders does lead. In the state of Massachusetts, it's too early to call. Sanders leads. In the state of Mississippi, Nikki Haley is the projected winner. And she is also the projected winner in Missouri. In the state of New Hampshire, it's too early to call, though John Kasich actually leads in this state. In the state of New Jersey, it's too early to call, with Kasich leading. New Jersey is expected to be one of the closest states tonight. All 4 candidates were polling within 1% of each other. In Oklahoma, it is much too early to call, though Nikki Haley leads. In the state of Pennsylvania, it's too early to call, though John Kasich leads. In the state of Rhode Island, Bernie Sanders has carried the state, and it's 4 electoral votes. Nikki Haley is projected winner in the state of Tennessee. And in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, it is actually too early to call. The only really competitive people in the district were Sanders and Pelosi. And here's the national vote. As you can see, Sanders and Pelosi are closing in, as is Kasich. Nikki Haley's large lead is mostly evaporated, though she does lead. And this is what the map currently looks like. As you can see, any state that's in gold is too close to call. John Kasich, the Kasich looper up there, currently has 0, as does Nancy Pelosi. Bernie Sanders has 18 electoral votes, all from New England. And you have 113 votes from Nikki Haley, mostly from the Deep South. It's time for the 8:30 p.m. poll closing, and that would be Arkansas. And Nikki Haley is the projected winner of Arkansas's 6 electoral votes. And I think we have a few key alerts. Yes, we do. The state of Massachusetts, Bernie Sanders will carry all 11 of its electoral votes. And Florida will go to Nikki Haley. That's a pretty early call for Florida, though I guess the electorate is a little less progressive, and the progressives probably split the vote with any Democrats and moderates, and the conservative base just turned out. Again, this is a confusing election. We don't entirely understand what's going on here. And nationally, it's gotten really close with Pelosi and Sanders neck and neck, and Nikki Haley about 1 million votes ahead of both of them. Kasich is trailing with about half of everyone else's vote total. We have 99 votes that are too close to call. Both Pelosi and Kasich don't have any votes, and Sanders has 29 electoral votes, with Haley at 148. Remember, 270 needed to win. And it's time for the 9 p.m. poll closings, the second largest poll closing of the evening, with 156 electoral votes. In Arizona, it's too early to call this state. Kasich leads. Same thing with Colorado, where John Kasich is from. Not John Kasich, sorry, John Hickenlooper. Kansas, Nikki Haley is a projected winner. She's also a projected winner in Louisiana. In the state of Michigan, it's too early to call, though Bernie Sanders does lead. In the state of Minnesota, it's too early to call, though John Kasich leads. In the state of Nebraska, Nikki Haley will win 2 congressional districts and the at-large vote for 4 of 5, whereas John Kasich is the projected winner of the 2nd congressional district, his first electoral vote of the evening. In the state of New Mexico, with 5 electoral votes, Nancy Pelosi is the projected winner, her first electoral votes of the evening. In the state of New York, it's much too early to call, though Sanders leads, Pelosi is in 2nd, and picking up the rear by a wide margin are Kasich and Nikki Haley. In the state of North Dakota, Nikki Haley is the projected winner. She is also the projected winner in South Dakota. In the state of Texas, Nikki Haley is the projected winner of its 38 electoral votes. In the state of Wisconsin, it is too early to call, though John Kasich does lead in the state. In the state of Wyoming, the most conservative state in the union, Nikki Haley is the projected winner. And Nikki Haley has extended her lead due to this, with Pelosi and Sanders swapping places, with Sanders now taking up second place. Kasich has caught up a little bit. And we have 213 votes for Nikki Haley. That would be 57 needed for her to win the election. 5 for Pelosi, 1 for John Kasich, and 32 electoral votes go to Sanders. And there's 181 electoral votes that we cannot call yet, though polls are closed in those states. It's time for the 10 p.m. poll closings. That'd be 4 states: Iowa, Montana, Nevada, and Utah. In the state of Iowa, it's too early to call, though Kasich does lead in the state. In the state of Montana, it's too early to call, though Sanders actually leads. Nikki Haley will carry Utah's 6 electoral votes, and Nevada will go to Bernie Sanders. Colorado, apparently we have some key race alerts I wasn't told about. Colorado will go to John Kasich, and the state of Minnesota will also go to John Kasich. And apparently so will Michigan. Wisconsin also goes to John Kasich. The state of Pennsylvania will go to John Kasich. Washington, D.C. will go to Bernie Sanders. And the state of Maryland, it appears, will go to Nancy Pelosi. And just to let you know, Bernie Sanders is the first non-Democrat to win the District of Columbia. And nationally, Haley has jumped up, has expanded her lead slightly, though, and Pelosi and Sanders have picked up some votes. Kasich has also picked up votes. And this is what the map looks like. Did we get a card for Kasich winning Ohio? No, we haven't. Okay. Well, John Kasich has also carried his home state of Ohio. And as we remember, no Republican has won the election without Ohio, though we have no earthly idea. Looking at it, and based off of pre-election polling, which this is somewhat matching pre-election polling, there is a very good chance this election goes to the House of Representatives. Nikki Haley needs less than 50 votes. She needs 44 electoral votes, but I personally don't think she's going to get it, just judging off of the votes that are outstanding and who's competitive where. Sanders is looking strong in New York, Illinois, which takes off those big vote getters. Jersey is looking very competitive, but likely to go to someone other than Nikki Haley, and there just aren't enough electoral votes out there for her to win otherwise, unless she pulls out a miracle and wins California, which I don't think anybody would believe that. The 11 p.m. poll closings. We've got 5 states here, and the first state of California is projected to go to Bernie Sanders. In the state of Hawaii, it is much too early to call, though Pelosi leads the state. In the state of Oregon, Bernie Sanders is the projected winner, and he is also the projected winner of Washington. Both Washington and Oregon use mail-in only, and this is how we can tell that they have won these 2 states. In the state of Idaho, it is too early to call, though Nikki Haley leads. In the state of New Hampshire, we have some key race alerts. Nikki Haley is the projected winner. And nationally, Nikki Haley has expanded her lead fairly large, to a fairly wide margin. And we'll see as we get some more ballots from states that have closed in. And this is what the map looks like as it stands. And Bernie Sanders has crossed 100 electoral votes with those calls. John Kasich is a little bit under 100. Nancy Pelosi is pulling up the rear with 15 electoral votes. Nikki Haley is at 230, needing only 40 electoral votes to become president. She would need essentially Illinois, Arizona, and states totaling 9 electoral votes. So that would be Idaho, Hawaii, Delaware, or just Illinois, New Jersey, and Arizona, or Illinois and New York, or New York and Arizona. No one else has a path to 270, and no one else can win the election outright. It's time for the 1 a.m. poll closing, and this is the final poll closing. Alaska, the final frontier. In the state of Alaska, John Kasich is the projected winner here. And in the state of Arizona, we have some key race alerts. Arizona will go to John Kasich. Bernie Sanders is the projected winner in Montana. I think we projected him to win earlier, though we didn't have the title card for it. That's strange. In the state of Hawaii, Nancy Pelosi is the projected winner. In the state of Illinois, Bernie Sanders will carry this state. New Jersey, wow. John Kasich is the projected winner. That's not even a apparent winner. Judging by what I'm looking at, it's extremely close. New York is projected to go to Bernie Sanders. And we have 2 states that are too close to call and that we will not be able to call tonight. Idaho and Delaware. The station will keep you posted, however. Nationally, most precincts have been counted. We've got about 97% in. And Nikki Haley will have about a 7 million vote gap to Bernie Sanders, 10 million to Nancy Pelosi, and 15 million to John Kasich. So Nikki Haley has won the popular vote decently. She's won a plurality. She hasn't won it outright, though no one expected anyone to get even close to 50% tonight. Anyway, here's what the map currently looks like. The 2 states, Idaho and Delaware, are still out, and John Kasich has passed 100 electoral votes. Nancy Pelosi is bringing up the rear at 19, and we have 7. Of course, we have 7 outstanding. As you can see, a lot of the competitive areas, the deep Republican areas have mostly stayed Republican. It seems a lot of the Democrat areas have gone progressive, and other areas where people are somewhat more moderate or just more establishment, they've gone either Democrat, Republican, or for the Democrats. And occasionally a few states haven't matched up, like Montana going for the progressives, even though it's a state you'd expect to go Republican or even Democrat-Republican. Same thing with Nevada to a degree, or Republican. New Hampshire is a bit weird, is that it's the lone New England state that didn't vote for Sanders. This is a very strange map, it seems. And we have 2 key race alerts here at 5:45 p.m. on Wednesday. Idaho and Delaware. Idaho will go to Nikki Haley, and the apparent winner in Delaware is Nikki Haley. That's a little strange and a little surprising. She becomes the first Republican since the 80s to win Delaware. And we have the national popular vote here. All precincts have reported Nikki Haley has won the popular vote by a fairly wide margin. And this is what the Electoral College map looks like. Nikki Haley with 237, Pelosi with 19, Sanders with 164, and Kasich with 118. House and Senate results. The new House will have 135 Republicans, 120 Progressives, 113 Democrat Republicans, and 67 Democrats. The new Senate will have 35 Republicans, 30 Democrats, 18 progressives, and 17 Democrat Republicans. It seems a lot of... So the Republicans will have the most, but they'd have to form a coalition with the Democrat Republicans in order to get anything done. It seems they would have neither the progressives, honestly the progressives could form a coalition with the Democrat Republicans, and that's peculiar. Anyway, moving to the fact we have an electoral college deadlock. The electoral college voted just like the election results. The current Senate will choose a vice president from the top 3 candidates. The current House will choose the president from the top 3 candidates, each state only getting 1 vote, as everyone remembers. Most states are split by the 4 parties, and coalitions will probably need to be formed. The vice president has been chosen by the Senate. Rand Paul will be the new vice president of the United States. And here is what the House voted as. And as we can see, we've got 26 states for Nikki Haley. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 states voting for John Kasich. Some, it seems, were a protest vote, especially Delaware, saying he refused to vote for the progressive and didn't want to vote for the Republican, so he voted for Kasich. Some states, I think, were compromise candidates. And we've got... I think it's 15 states voting for Bernie Sanders. So this is going to cause a lot of issues. Though Nikki Haley did get the most electoral votes, and she also got the most popular votes. So it probably won't be as controversial as 1824, despite headlines in newspapers reading "Party like it's 1824," referencing the contentious election of that year, where 4 candidates ran and the Electoral College was deadlocked, forcing the House to choose, and they chose the person who didn't get the most electoral votes or the most popular votes. This time it appears the House did the right thing. And we have a presidential projection. Nikki Haley has been elected the 48th President of the United States of America. She's become the first woman to win a presidential election, even though she isn't the first woman to be president. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. April Fools. I just wanted to have fun with a scenario where both major parties split. I thought this would be the best way to do an April Fool's Day joke on you guys. So you're getting this at like 1 a.m. That way it's I can say I started the upload on a Saturday, so it was scheduled, and it uploaded on Sunday, so I can also use this as my April Fool's Day joke. Anyway, thank you so much for watching again, guys. Tomorrow I'm going to, or I guess later today, I'm going to stream for a couple hours. I'm just going to play chess on Lichess. I'm not going to do anything serious. I will start the stream off by showing you the spreadsheet I used to, that way you guys can check, I actually did all the vote totals and all this stuff. I just didn't want to put it, I just thought it was too much work to put 4 candidates totals for 50 states in, and yeah, it was a mess. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.